And finally, we have our last segment of the week. Last week in questions, we have taken a few questions from our Patreon. For our first question, Eric Clausen asks if Luke, Leia, and Han being the leads of the new Star Wars comic means they won't be in the Filoni New Republic movie.
I never thought that they were going to be in that, but that's just my opinion.
That's, I guess, an ongoing debate of will they be, should they be? I kind of think that they shouldn't be, because I figure that'll just be more deepfake stuff. I want them to obviously be involved in the conflict against Thrawn, but I think that the story itself can stay focused on Din and Hera, and like the characters in these series will be the major stars, and the same way we see the Ghost flying around at the Battle of Scarif, we can see the Millennium Falcon flying around if it's the Battle of Bilbringy or what have you.
The what?
That's the final battle of the Thrawn trilogy of Legends books.
What's it called?
The Battle of Bilbringy.
That sounds like something from Lord of the Rings. The Battle of Bilbo and Bilbringy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it makes sense for the time period and the events that those characters should be in it. But how many times are we going to use these characters as a crutch to tell a story that we want to tell? But everyone's like, well, they have to be there if you're going to tell this story.
Right. And I'm like, they can be there.
They don't have to be there.
But I don't think they need to be shown on screen. Right. Especially if it's just going to be more deep fake stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I'm so tired of that. I liked Alien Romulus, but I remember seeing the deep fake and being like, oh,
they fixed it.
On. Yeah, and I'm like, that wasn't the issue.
Yeah, they didn't fix it.
I know people like us, and we've talked about how if characters are being used in a comic, that probably means that they aren't going to be used in some upcoming story, especially on screen. But these comics are set so far apart. Like, this is 8 years before what happens with the Mandalorian and Thrawn's return and everything. So I don't necessarily think that means because they're in this comic, they won't be in the movies.
Yeah. I guess I'm biased because I just don't want them there. Like you said, like they could be mentioned, they could be alluded to, kind of like we saw in Ahsoka.
Right.
But
having C-3PO step in.
Yeah. And I'm sure some people will roll their eyes at that because the technology exists to have them appear, but it's kind of like, just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Yeah, pull in the old Jurassic Park quote. Like,
yeah.
I just don't want to get into that habit of constantly just, we can make any actor anywhere appear. It's like, that doesn't make it right or good. And in a perfect world, then they would have made these movies in 1993.
Yeah.
when they all would have been the right age, but they didn't. And so I think that we need to get workarounds, and I would prefer the workaround be like, oh, they were just off screen.
Sure.
And like, this whole story has been mostly about a very specific set of characters. And if it's the epic conclusion to their story, they should be the focus.
They will absolutely be overshadowed if those three show up.
Right. Also that.